कुंज विहार। नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was a nice Kirtan with Kartal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ashish,
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Advait Chandra Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. We welcome you all on behalf of ICF.
We welcome you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you so much.
Hare Krishna. So we can start now?
Yes, Prabhu. Sure, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 19, text 1 to 5, chapter entitled The Status Quo is the canto, and chapter 19, The Killing of Demon Hiranyaksha. Please excuse my voice today. I have a little bit of cold, so may not be able to modulate my voice in your service. Hare Krishna. So would someone like to read the verse and translation, please?
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Maitreya uvacha avadharya virinchasya nirvyalikamritam vachaha prahasya prema garbhena tad apangena so agrahit. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Sindhu Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam Prabhuji. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the words of Brahma, the creator, which were free from all the sinful purposes and as sweet as nectar, the Lord heartily laughed and accepted his prayer with a glance laden with love. Hare Krishna.
Next verse.
Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Tata sapatnam ततः सपत्नं मुखतश्चरन्तं मकुतो भयं जगानोत्पत्तिर्गदया हना असुरम् अक्षजः. हरे कृष्ण.
Vrishabhanu Mataji, you can read the translation. Vrishabhanu Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Translation. The Lord, the Lord who had appeared from the nostril of Brahma sprang and aimed his mace at the chin of his enemy, the Hiranyaksha demon, who was stalking fearlessly before him. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Next verse, we have till verse 5.
Sudha Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम. हरे कृष्ण माता जी. साहता तेन गदाया विहता भगवत्करात् विघूर्णिता पतत्रेजे तदद्भुतम् इवाभवत्. हरे कृष्ण. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Sharavanan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dhanvat Pranam. Translation Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Struck by the demon's mace, however, the Lord mace slipped from his hand and looked splendid as it fell down, whirling. This was miraculous, for the mace was blazing wonderfully. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Shobha Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी धन्माता जी. श्रील प्रपात की जय. वर्स नंबर 5. कथायम अपविद्धायम हाहाकारे विनिर्गते मानयाम आशतत् धर्मा पुनाभं चास्मरात् विभुः. हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू माता जी. थैंक यू. Read the translation, Mataji.
No, we'll ask Divya Mataji to read the translation.
Even though translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even though the demon has had an excellent opportunity to strike his unarmed foe without obstruction, he respected the law of single combat, thereby kindling the fury of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji Dandavat Pranams.
Anybody want to read the verse number 5? Sharmila Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण. गदायाम् अपविद्यायां हाहाकारे विनिर्गते मानायामास तद्धर्मं सुनाभं चास्मरद्विभुः. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Ramakrishna Prabhu, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation. As the Lord's mace fell to the ground and a cry of alarm arose from the witnessing crowd of gods and rises. The personality of Godhead acknowledged the demon's love of Retonius and therefore invoked his Sudarshana discus.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Okay, so we continue with the prayers, and then we'll discuss the this particular set of verses. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrind. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the wonderful chapter where it is Sri Maitreya is describing the killing of demon Hiranyaksha. And when Lord Brahma and the demigods, Devtas, they came and they prayed to Krishna, Krishna laughed because he accepted his prayer, he accepted their prayer and Brahma's prayer with a glance laden with love, with kripa kataksha. In fact, there is a very beautiful prayer of Radha kripa kataksha and Krishna kripa kataksha. Radha kripa kataksha is the sidelong glance of Srimati Radharani. And this Radha kripa kataksha is the anthem of Vrindavan, just like we have the national anthem. Like that, the anthem of Vrindavan, a small child also remembers and recites this Shri Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha, which was actually sung by Lord Shiva in praise of Srimati Radharani, but compiled by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami on the banks of Sri Radha Kunda. So if you go to Radha Kunda and if we sit on the banks, they have Radha Kripa Kataksha and Krishna Kripa Kataksha, which is actually written there and printed there. So it is said actually in Radha Kripa Kataksha glories that anyone who sings Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha 108 times while immersed in the waters of Radha Kunda can actually go back home, back to Godhead by the mercy of Lord Shiva, by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, and also there are many other benedictions of whatever you say would come true and things like that. But it's a very, very powerful prayer because it is invoking the sidelong glance, not the direct glance, but the sidelong glance of Srimati Radharani, merciful sidelong glance. Radha Kripa Kataksha. Kataksha means sidelong glance. Kripa is mercy. And Srimati Radharani. Similarly, Krishna Kripa Kataksha. And here, Krishna accepted the prayer with a glance laden with love. It may not be sidelong glance yet because Krishna gives sidelong glances to Srimati Radharani when he was lifting the Govardhan hill on his little finger of his left hand. Sri Balaram saw that suddenly the Govardhan hill is trembling a little bit. Krishna's hand is trembling. And Balaram saw, why is Krishna's hand trembling? And then he saw that Krishna is giving sidelong glances to Srimati Radharani, who was also under the Govardhan hill with the other gopis. And Balaram said, okay, we need to hide Srimati Radharani somewhere away from the vision of Sri Krishna. Otherwise, just by his sidelong glance to Srimati Radharani, his hands are trembling. So these are all glances laden with love. Here also, there is a glance that Krishna gives laden with love, and we pray that by following the teachings of Lord Brahma, we may also one day be able to receive the glance of love laden by our Guru Maharaj, by Srila Prabhupada, by Krishna and all the acharyas. Here the word used is apangena. Prema garbhena apangena. That's a glance is apangena, and prema garbhena is laden with love. So Krishna here, actually Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, very beautiful purport, that the word nirvyalika amritam vacha. So here Maitreya says, avadharya virinchasya nirvyalika amritam vachaha. That after hearing Lord Brahma, what are they hearing from Lord Brahma? Nirvyalika amritam, nectar which was free from all sinful purposes. Nirvyalika. The words, Nirvyalika amritam vachaha, the words that were free from all sinful purposes, nectarian words. After hearing, Krishna started laughing, prahasya. And after laughing, he gave prema garbhena apangena. Prema garbhena, garbha means womb. So in the womb of his glance, he laid his love. Prema garbhena apangena. And this was an indication that Krishna has accepted Brahma's prayers. And this is a big deal. This is a huge thing. Krishna does not accept anyone's prayers. In fact, Srila Prabhupada says one of the meanings of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, O Radhe, O Krishna, O Balaram, O Radharaman, please accept me. So this is a huge thing, Krishna accepting something. Krishna accepting our prayers is a big deal. Krishna accepting our bhoga is a huge deal. When Krishna accepting our chanting is the goal of chanting. And after Krishna accepts, then we continue chanting more. And we just pray, because why is Krishna accepting this such a big deal? From our perspective, Prabhupada says, we have rejected Krishna in the spiritual world and we came here. We've forgotten Krishna. We've forgotten our relationship, our eternal relationship, which is still there. It's just that we have forgotten. And then he says that Krishna, we have rejected him. We've come here. Even after coming here, we've insulted him. We have shown our back to him. But Krishna is still eagerly waiting for us, crying, please come back. He's more eager for us to come back than we are to go back to him. But if we realize this mistake of ours, this predicament of ours, and we go back to Krishna, Krishna, I have no face to come in front of you. I'm worthless because I've rejected you, insulted you for time immemorial. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, they have asked me to chant this prayer for you. Even though I'm worthless, I beg you, please accept this prayer. Please accept me. This is the mood of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is even the mood that we offer bhoga to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, he in one lecture, he said how we offer bhoga to Krishna. Krishna, I'm worthless. I'm yours, but I'm worthless. Please my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada have said to please offer this bhoga to you. Please accept this. I'm very offensive. Please accept this. And he started crying in this lecture when he was saying how to offer bhoga to Krishna. That's the mood. That's the mood of chanting. That's the mood of offering anything to Krishna. And when we offer with such humility, nirvyalika, free from all sinful purposes, which means we don't have any agenda, we don't have any personal sinful purpose. That sinful meaning anything that is going against the pleasure of Krishna. Anything. That is the strictest meaning of sinful. But in specific, he's saying devoid of any sense gratification, devoid of any selfish purpose. And therefore, the prayers of the demigods or devotees, Srila Prabhupada says, are free from all sinful purposes, but prayers of demons are always filled with sinful purposes. Because how did Hiranyaksha become powerful? By deriving a boon from Brahma. And then he started misusing it because his prayer to Brahma was with a sinful purpose. Whereas this prayer of Brahma to Krishna was sinless, with a sinless purpose. And so Krishna was pleased, Krishna accepted it, and he accepted it with a loving glance. In fact, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that it is said that the dacoits in Bengal used to worship the goddess Kali for fulfillment of their sinful desires to plunder others' property. But they never went to a Vishnu temple because they might have been unsuccessful in praying to Vishnu. So in this way, we understand that people with sinful purposes, they go to demigods. They rarely come to Krishna because Krishna is like a parent and demigods are like shopkeepers. So we'll come to this point a little later, but in Bengal, there are many pastimes. There is a pastime of Lord Nityananda, who actually had dacoits coming to his place. Because Lord Nityananda, he was Avadhuta. He had a pearl necklace. He had diamond earrings. Lord Nityananda, he would just roam around with that. And he had these arm bands on the hands with jewels. And then his finger rings had these different precious stones. And he had silver ankle bells. And all of these different jewelries that were anointed. So there was a gang of dacoits who were led by a Brahmana, actually. He was a Brahmana, but then due to circumstances, he became the leader of dacoits, and he told them, Ma Chandi has sent us so that we can get all the wealth in one place on Lord Nityananda, on Nitai. And so go and get gold, silver from Nitai's body. What is Nitai doing now? So one of the dacoits went there, he looked inside the house, and he saw that Nitai was honoring prasad. He said, Nitai bhat khache, means Nitai is eating rice. Bhat is a very gross way of saying. Generally, we say anno or prasad. Nitai prasad pache. But he says Nitai bhat khache. But so leader said, okay, inside they just keep chanting and dancing and honoring prasad inside Nitai's house. So let them chant and dance, and after prasad, they will go to sleep. That's when we will enter the house. So, and we'll rob them. So they all sat outside the house under the trees, and they were waiting for everyone to go to sleep. But instead, they went to sleep. And next day morning, they got up and said, Huh? What happened? It's daylight now. Said, yeah, somehow we went to sleep. So then the leader said, let's run away, otherwise people will catch us. So they ran away. We'll come next night. So then the night later, they came, and they actually came back to the same place. And when they came, they saw there were infantry, army of guards guarding with weapons, guarding Nitai's house. These dacoits said, what? These army of guards? What are these army of guards doing here? Maybe some king may have come here to visit Nitai. Okay, today is not the day. Today is not the day. Let's go later. Let's go later. And they started, you know why all these obstacles are coming? Because we have not prayed to Ma Chandi. We have not pleased her. We should please Ma Chandi, Kalima, and then we'll come back. So they went back, they did Kali Puja, and they wanted to get the benediction of Kali for what? For sinful purposes. And not just sinful, for actually offensive purposes. There is a difference between sinful and offensive. Aparadha and papa. There is a difference. There is a different account for papa, and there is a different account for aparadha. If someone performs sinful activities, papa karma, it goes into their account, in the karmic accounts, but it doesn't impact their spiritual account. In the spiritual account goes aparadha and sukriti. If we accidentally or even knowingly, unknowingly serve a devotee, it goes into our sukriti account, which is the same account as aparadha. The aparadha account, of course, aparadha also has its different account, but sukriti and aparadha are the same category, just opposite to each other. And if you offend a devotee, offend the Lord, it goes into our aparadha account, which freezes the sukriti account, which means we have the sukriti, any good things that we may have done in service of a devotee or the devotee of the Lord, but it's frozen. We are not able to access that sukriti until we get rid of the aparad, until we get rid of the offense. So they were not offensive. They were not offensive in their purpose. They were unknowingly wanting to commit offense, but for their purpose was more sinful. They didn't care if it was Nitai or anyone else. Anyone who would have worn all these jewelry, they would have gone after that person as well. But then it was one of their special fortunes that they wanted to rob. They came with sinful desire to, sinful purpose to Lord Nityananda. And so then they went back again, and a week later they went there. It was very dark. And this time they came and started attacking the house. There is no one in there. They started running with their weapons. But around the house, there was a trench, and they all fell into the trench. There were trenches around. They were like, whoa, what's going on? And then, by the mercy of Kali Ma, the leader of the dacoits realized this is no ordinary person. We have never experienced such obstacles. We are professional dacoits. And here, one after another, this must be something greater And he said, Nitai is not an ordinary person. By the mercy of Kali, she inspired the leader of the dacoits to understand that Nitai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so Nitai asked, when the dacoit, the leader of the dacoit, went inside the house to surrender to Nitai, there were no obstacles. When they were going in with sinful purpose, there were so many obstacles. But as soon as he decided, yes, I must surrender to Nitai, he went inside the house flung open, he came and he fell at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, said, please give me shelter. And all the devotees who were surrounding Nitai, they said, this is the leader of the dacoits. Dacoits are not to be trusted. They will pretend that they are surrendering, but then they will come and cheat us. So then Nitai folded his hands and he said, okay, leader of the dacoits, what do you have to say for yourself? We don't trust you. So then the dacoit admitted, yes, we were coming to steal all your jewels and everything. And we are so sorry about that. But we had so many obstacles. Never such obstacles have been there, especially after we have prayed to Ma Chandi. So she has given me the inspiration that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please accept me. And so Nitai very mercifully accepted him, and all the other dacoits also surrendered to Nitai. So this is the difference between approaching a demigod, a devata, with a material desire versus approaching Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with material desires. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharadhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Which means whether we have akama, no material desires, sarva kamo, or all kinds of material desires, moksha kama udharadi, or we have desires of liberation. In all these circumstances, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, intensely worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if we have material desires, go to Krishna or any Vishnu Tattva, because Krishna will give a benediction in such a way that there will be no need for future benedictions. It will not only satisfy the desire if Krishna wants, material desire, but it will also calm down the fire of material desires. He will fulfill the desire in such a way that the devotee will feel, whoa, really? I really wanted that? No, this is too low. I don't want that. I want spirituality. I want Krishna's love. So Krishna may satisfy the desire or may not, depending on whatever is best for the devotee, his spiritual life. But if he satisfies the desire, in either case, he will get rid of that root of the material desire. And then our spirituality will actually blossom. Dhruva Maharaj also prayed the same way. He said, Sthana bhilashita tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichanvanam api divya ratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Dhruva Maharaj, after he was blessed by Lord Vishnu when he touched his conch shell on the head of Dhruva Maharaj, immediately he started all different kinds of verses glorifying Vishnu, Krishna came out, and he said this one verse, that I was running after position and power and prestige, sthan abhilashita, tapasya sthitoham. Why I was doing this tapasya? To get position and power, sthana. Tvam praptavan deva guni munindra guhyam. And that even though I was performing tapasya for some material prestige, I found you, Tvam prapta, which is very, very difficult even for great sages, munindra guhyam. It's mystical. It's a secret even from great sages and munis. Kacham vichanvanam api divya ratnam. It is like I was looking for broken pieces of glass, and I found this divine jewel, the divya ratnam of your blessings, of your association, of your darshan. Swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Oh my Lord, I am very grateful and I'm very satisfied just by your darshan. Varam nayache. I don't want any material benediction from you. But Krishna fulfilled his original material desire to be a great king, and he became a great king in the service of Krishna. So Krishna satisfies our material desires in such a way that we don't want them anymore. Even though they are burning material desire, we cannot think of anything else other than that material desire. Go to Krishna. And very humbly, therefore, Srila Prabhupada was very, very careful whenever he would even ask devotees to pray for him. When Srila Prabhupada his health was very sick. I think first time in 1968, he was at that time, he was in India, and then devotees said, what can we do? Everyone is praying for your health to come back so you can come back to US and inspire us again. And Srila Prabhupada said, initially he did not want anyone to pray for him because he felt this is material prayer. And then Srila Prabhupada relented. He said, okay, you can pray saying, if you so desire, my dear Krishna, please bring Srila Prabhupada back to health. So this particular phrase, if you so desire, is very important because he knows better what is best for us than we know for ourselves. And so Srila Prabhupada says, if you so desire, so even if it's a material desire and we have to go, Bhagavatam says, go to Krishna, not to Devatas, and we'll see in a minute why. But even if you go, say, if you so desire, Krishna, if you feel this is the best for my service to you, and then Krishna will do whatever is the best. But he'll do it in such a way that we will be inspired in our spiritual life. But if we go to the Devatas, it is said that Devatas are like shopkeepers and Krishna is like a parent. If a child goes to a shopkeeper and says, here's $10, give me all the sweets that you can give me. Or here's 100 rupees, give me all the sweets you can give me. And the shopkeeper will give all the sweets, even though the sweets may not be good for the child. The shopkeeper won't say, oh, you should not eat sweets right now. Your teeth may go bad. You'll have a lot of health problems. No, you give me money, I give you sweets. I don't care what happens after you eat the sweets. That's on you. You can't go back to the shopkeeper saying, hey, my teeth got bad because I ate your sweets. Why did you even sell me sweets? You gave me money. I gave you sweets. Now it's up to you. Consequences are up to you. But if the same child goes to his parent or his or her parent and say, I want sweets, the parent will think whether, is it too many sweets? Did they eat sweets yesterday as well? Will they get sugar rush? Is it good for them or not? And then maybe they will give, but in limited quantity, just to make sure that in long term, the child is taken care of. So sometimes it may be fulfilled. Sometimes if the child goes to the parent may not fulfill, sometimes partially fulfilled, but all in the best interest of the child. Similarly, if we go to the devatas, if we perform the proper oblations and the yagyas, and we please the devata, they are bound to give whatever we want, whatever is the material desire. They will give it. But then what happens as a consequence of fulfilling that material desire is not on the devata, it's on us. But Krishna will see, hey, if you fulfill this material desire, you're going to fall into a trench, and then it'll not be good for you. And I want to see your long-term gain. So this is the difference between going to the devatas to fulfill our material desire and to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says, if we go to even a devata with nirvyalika mood, which means without any sinful purpose, we are going to the devata, say we are just worshipping Lord Shiva for his pleasure. We are worshipping Ma Kali for her pleasure, not for any material benediction. Then what the devata will do? Then they will guide us towards Krishna. They will say, we are not the supreme. Since your desire is nirvyalika, you want to satisfy me just for my pleasure. I'm a devotee. I will take you to the person of whom I'm a devotee. And we see so many devotees in Krishna consciousness. They were previously nirvyalika devotees sometimes of other devatas. They didn't care whether they had to fulfill material desire or not. And then those devatas led them to Krishna, led them to ISKCON, led them to Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada's movement and mission, to Lord Chaitanya. Just like Ma Kali led them to the mercy of Jai Shri Nitai. We just had Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day, and Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is unlimited. Similarly, we see in the life of Jadabharata. Jadabharat, he was, of course, he was King Bharata, and then we all know the story where he became attached to the deer, and he got the body of a deer in his next life, but he was Jati Smara, which means he was able to remember his past life. And the deer was only roaming around the hermitages of sages to hear Krishna Katha. And then in his next life, he got a human form of life, and he understood, I kind of got deviated in my previous lives. So now let me just pretend as if I'm a dumb person so that no one will come near me. Even his family members understood this person is of no use materially, and they just kind of ignored him. And he was happy. He didn't want to get distracted. He was focused internally in prayer to Krishna. And then later, of course, he met King Rahuguna, but also he was roaming in the jungles, and some dacoits. They were not exactly dacoits, but they were man-eaters who would capture a man, kill the person, offer the blood to Ma Kali, Bhadra Kali, and then eat the flesh, the Mahaprasad. So then they captured Jadabharata, who was wandering in the jungles, taking the names of Krishna, remembering Krishna. And they thought he's just a animal-like man, just going, and then they captured him, and with a sharp sword, huge sword, they were about to cut his head. and offer it to Ma Bhadrakali. And the Jallad, he actually took the sword, he chanted some mantras to Ma Bhadrakali, and as his sword descended, they heard a noise coming from Ma Bhadrakali's deity, and the deity just exploded. And then Ma Kali came out. She came there with her sword. She actually cut the heads of all the people, all of her devotees, just to protect Jadabharata, because she understood this is a devotee of Krishna. And these people are killing a devotee of Krishna for sinful purposes. They are worshipping me with Vyalika, not Nirvyalika, sinful purpose. And so she came and she protected Jadabharata. So if you're a devotee of Krishna, we are protected in all circumstances by all kinds of divine beings. So in this way, here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that therefore the prayers of demigods or devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are always untinged by sinful purposes. The demon Hiranyaksha, he became powerful by praying with sinful purpose. And when Brahma, he prayed Nirvyalika, and Krishna accepted his prayers with a loving glance and a laugh. Rahasya, he was heartily laughing. It actually, that's when Krishna appeared from the nostril of Brahma, the same Brahma who had given benediction to Hiranyaksha. From the same Brahma, the nostril of Brahma, came a small little boar. And then he grew in size, much, much bigger than all the universes, with a mace in his hand. And he challenged Sri Hiranyaksha. He actually dove into the water. He rescued Bhumi Devi, put her back into her place, and then he came to fight with Hiranyaksha. Sri Varahadev ki jai. So in this way, we understand that Krishna was first focused in protecting his devotees, then killing his demons. There is this verse in Bhagavad Gita that Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. First is Paritranaya sadhunam. First, his purpose is to protect his devotees. And then, if needed, vinashaya cha dushkritam. Then he focuses on killing the demons. This shows we must be always focused on what we actually want, not what we want to avoid. Even in our Krishna consciousness, we should understand that we must be focused on the mercy of Krishna more than focusing on what we want to avoid. If we focus on avoiding the 10 offenses, for example, which we must avoid, but if we say focus on, okay, the first offense is to not to blaspheme devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord, and we are always worried, oh, I might offend devotee. Oh, I might offend this devotee. Oh, I might offend that devotee. I don't want to offend this person. Guess what we will end up doing? We will end up offending the same people that we don't want to offend. Because we are focusing on avoiding something. Rather, if we focus on, let me glorify this devotee, let me see the good quality in this devotee and ignore the bad perception that I'm having. Let me associate with this devotee's good qualities. Then automatically we will avoid offending that person, because our focus is on glorification. Our focus is not just avoiding the blasphemy. So we can do that with the same, all of the 10 offenses. Instead of focusing on negative, focus on how the positive, so that the negative will automatically be taken care of. We must avoid the 10 offenses, but the way to avoid 10 offenses is to focus on the opposite of the 10 offenses. And we can go down and do for all these offenses, and then our chanting will actually grow. Even when the NASCAR drivers who are racing in the cars, they have to really race really fast on the tracks. And they are told they are supposed to avoid all accidents and win as well. So if a driver is focusing on avoiding the wall, I don't want to hit the wall, I don't want to hit the fence, guess what? They will hit the fence. And so they are trained, forget about the fence, focus on the track, focus on remaining on the track, and then you'll automatically avoid the offense, avoid the fence. And in this way, like they avoid the fence, we will avoid the offense if we focus on the positive side of it. How much time do we have for this class before we can start the question and answer session?
Prabhu, you can take 10 more minutes.
Okay.
After that, you can take for 10 more minutes question and answers. And then, because by 11 we start another session.
Okay.
Have to close it before.
Okay. All right. So there are here Krishna is saying that he is having rahasya, and there are many different kinds of smiles of Krishna. If we see in the verse here, after Brahma gave his nirvyalika amritam vachaha, then the words come prahasya prema garbhena. Prahasya is heartily laughing. Krishna was heartily laughing actually. And there are all these different kinds of smiles of Krishna. And these different kinds of smiles that are given is, for example, there is the hasya. These are the different rasas, but there are 6 kind of smiles. There is smita. Smita meaning he just, in many places in Bhagavatam, he'll say smita. He's just smiling, very small smile. But here, he is actually prahasya. It's not just hasya. Hasya is laughing. Prahasya is heartily laughing. His whole body is actually moving when he's laughing. So much pleased he is with Brahma. And also in the whole situation, Brahma, it was you who gave all these benedictions, and now you're coming to me. But you're so humbly praying, I'm so pleased. And he started laughing, prahasya. Heartily, he was laughing. So this is a very significant gesture that Krishna has given to Brahma. And so it's important that we hear and chant about Krishna, which will purify our heart and provide us humility. One time there was a king. The king, he in his court, there were several courtyards, several ministers, and they all came. And there was one murtikar, which means one who makes murtis, deities. Not exactly deities, because then they are pran pratishtha, but he would just make murtis of Krishna. And he came there and he said, I'm coming from the neighboring kingdom and I have a challenge. As the king said, whoa, what kind of challenge? He's Kshatriya. He accepted the challenge. And the Murtikar said, I have these three murtis. These murtis, all three look alike. My challenge is, if anyone can find what is the difference between these three murtis. And so all the courtyards and all ministers, everyone was surprised. They all came one by one, looked at it from all sides. They were exactly the same. No one was able to find what was the difference. And then they extended this challenge to the entire kingdom. Anyone in the kingdom can come and find the difference. He'll be given half the kingdom. The king was so desperate. His prestige was on line. And so one very simple blacksmith, he came and he said, I can try to find the difference. He said, you're just a simple blacksmith. How will you? So he brought a wire with him. He said, this wire is our last hope of saving the grace of our kingdom. And so he came with that wire. Everything was hanging by the wire. All their prestige was hanging by the wire. He came with the wire and he put that wire in the ear of one murti. And that wire came out the other ear. Then he went to the second murti. He put the wire in the ear of that murti, and the wire didn't come out at all. He went to the third murti. He put the wire inside the ear, and it came out the mouth. So he said, that is the difference. Externally, they all look the same, but internally, there are these three differences. And so, what do we learn from this story? We understand that sometimes we hear Krishna Katha, and it comes into one ear and goes out the other ear. And there is nothing retained. We just got entertained. And that's how people who are not devotees, they accept Krishna Katha as just some story, some entertainment, bedtime stories, or maybe they'll make into a movie which they would like to enjoy for a couple of hours, and that's it. But they will get some sukriti. The second is the wire goes into the ear, Krishna Katha goes into the ear and stays inside. A devotee hears very attentively and assimilates inside, tries to follow it as well. And the third murti is like a devotee who hears and also repeats Krishna Katha. And Srila Prabhupada said that there are two kinds of devotees. There is Bhajananandis and Goshtanandis. Bhajananandis, they hear very attentively, they assimilate just for themselves. Goshtanandis, they hear attentively, assimilate within themselves, and then repeat it for the pleasure, for the benefit of everyone else. And Srila Prabhupada said, we are Goshtanandis. As followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, we are Goshtanandis, where we get every opportunity to share this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, the mercy of Krishna, the mercy of the holy names of Krishna with everyone. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very, very beautiful session today. So nice, and examples that you given is very wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I have a question. I have not raised my hand. Can I?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, first of all, we are very grateful in spite of the bad health you have
Prabhu, not
carried
able
on.
to hear clearly. I'm sorry.
Am I audible now?
Not clear, Prabhu.
Am I audible?
Yes, this is better.
Yeah. Prabhuji, at the outset, we are very thankful to you that in spite of the bad health, you carried on the session. And throughout the session, we didn't feel that you have any body issues. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. At one point of the session, Prabhuji, you mentioned about the faith that Krishna will protect me, Krishna will do the needful. So, how to get into this platform of having this kind of faith? Is it by our own effort, or is it the mercy of the Guru and the Vaishnavas, or the mercy of Krishna himself? So, can you please elaborate on this point? Thank you so much.
Thank you for this wonderful question. This is a very, very relevant question. How to get this faith? Answer is all of the above. It is the mercy of Krishna, mercy of the devotees, that we can get this kind of faith. And that's the beginning of spiritual life. Adav Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Tatha Nartha Nivriti, and Bhajan Kriya, Nartha Nivriti, all these different, all the way to love. So faith is the beginning point. Shraddha is the beginning point of love. It's the basis of how we can develop love for Krishna. So the best way to get that faith is to associate with devotees who have that kind of faith. If you find a devotee who has that faith, associate with them. Understand how they are practically implementing this faith in their life. Understand how they are developing this faith and associate with them. Then you will also develop similar faith. Read Srila Prabhupada's, if we read Srila Prabhupada's books, because Srila Prabhupada has that faith and matured into love of God. That he has so much faith that that faith has matured into love of God. If we read Srila Prabhupada's books regularly, we are associating with Srila Prabhupada. So regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and there Srila Prabhupada says we should chant. By regularly chanting, by regularly hearing and chanting and watering the seed of that faith, it will actually slowly grow to the point where we can have faith that, yes, firm faith, nishtha. Anartha, after all the anarthas are resolved, anartha nivritti, then comes the point of nishtha. That is firm faith that Krishna is protecting me. And till then, we can also perform, along with associating with devotees who have this faith, along with reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we can also practice this faith. We may not have that faith yet, but Srila Rupa Goswami, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this to Srila Sanatana Goswami during his teachings. He quoted a verse, which is also quoted by many Sri Vaishnavas, which is the essence that Sri Ramanujacharya said of surrender. Anukulasya sankalpaha pratikulasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishvaso gopatritve varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpanyam shadvidha sharanagati. But the first two are anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Focus on things, accept things that are favorable to Krishna consciousness, and reject things that are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. If we can practice this, then the third thing will come, which is avashya rakhive Krishna. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishvaso. How will we get rakshishyati iti vishvaso, the vishwas, the faith that Krishna will protect me, is if we perform these two activities first. We practice to accept any thought, any word, any deed that is favorable to Krishna consciousness. So if a thought comes to my mind, I don't know if Krishna will protect me or not, I'm so bad, I'm so sinful. Pratikulasya varjanam says no, reject those thoughts. Accept only thoughts that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Is this thought favorable to Krishna consciousness that Krishna will not protect me? No, it's not favorable. So even though we don't have that faith, spontaneous faith yet, let me practice that faith. Let me act as if I have this faith, and that will please Krishna. That is a symptom of surrender. What does it mean by surrender? To follow these 6 principles that are laid in this verse. And the first 2 of those principles of surrender is to accept things that are favorable to Krishna consciousness and reject things that are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Reject not just things, but also thoughts. So any thought that comes which takes us away from Krishna. So if you practice, even if we don't have faith, if we practice, if we act as if we have the faith, that is surrender at our level. Which will lead to Rakshashyati iti Vishwasam, firm faith that Krishna is definitely going to protect. There is no need for then acting it that way. But if we act as if we have that faith and accept and focus on just accepting that thought, of course, we have to see that, sometimes Krishna's protection may not be in the way that we want him to protect. Krishna will definitely protect, but it may come in different ways. It may sometimes temporarily look like he's not protecting, but eventually he will. So he will protect in the way that he feels is best for us, not in the way we think that he should protect. So we need to be detached from all of our conceptions of how Krishna should protect me and allow Krishna to actually protect us. But so even if the situations in our life go really bad, it seems that, Krishna is really not protecting me, he has left me. Even in those times, if we practice that, no, somehow this is good for me, I cannot see it, but Krishna is protecting me. Focus on the positive aspect of it, not not focusing on what to avoid, focus on what to accept. Then eventually we will have that faith. Even to Vritrasura, Krishna gave the recipe how to kill Vritrasura. Vritrasura was Chitraketu, a devotee in his previous life, and he remembered it, and he could have said, why Krishna is trying to kill me? But he knew Krishna had a purpose, because he wanted him to come back home, back to Godhead, and get rid of this demon body. So Krishna will definitely protect, associate with devotees who have faith, practice that faith, practice focusing on the fact that Krishna is protecting us, and then you will actually, Krishna will be pleased with that surrender, because you're doing the first step of surrender, and he will give you that real faith.
Any more questions, devotees? Okay. No more questions. It's very clear, Prabhu. Very wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Hare
Thank
We
you.
Krishna.
want the appreciation more and more. Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, I think Gandhi Prabhu has raised his hand. Can you give him opportunity if Prabhu is okay with it?
I didn't check. Prabhu, you have any doubt, please?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare
Sorry,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
please.
No problem, Mataji. No problem. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. As you said, this sinful and offenses, right? Can you just give me a little bit more elaborate on this? How we will affect on this too, and how we avoid of this?
So sinful activity is any activity that goes against the scriptures, stealing and plundering, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya, anything inspired by that comes under sinful activities. But if we are doing it to devotees or to the Lord, that then becomes an offense. That becomes aparadha. Aparadha comes from the word radha, going against Radha. Radha is personification of bhakti, of devotional service. So committing offenses, there are 6 categories of different kinds of offenses: Dhama aparad, Nama aparad, Seva aparad, Vaishnav aparad. So many different aparad are there. And to avoid any aparad we may do knowingly or unknowingly, it goes into the aparad category. And if we do pious activity, that will never overcome the aparad. Because aparad freezes. So there is a sukriti and aparad, 2 bank accounts. And then there is punya and papa. So there are 4 bank accounts of 2 different categories. Sukriti and aparad are in the same category. Papa and punya are another category. And they don't cancel each other. But there are ways that we can get rid of aparad. And if we have Sukriti can overcome Papa and Punya as well. But yeah, if we have committed aparad, then there are 2 things we must do. We must beg forgiveness for the offense. At the same time, also serve the devotee in such a way that he is pleased. Because when we perform aparad to a devotee, for example, then there are 2 components. One is the devotee is offended. The second is Krishna is offended that the devotee is offended. So when we beg forgiveness from the devotee may not even realize, may not even feel the offense, or he may immediately forgive as well. But the second component of Krishna being offended that the devotee is offended needs to be taken care of. And Srila Sanatana Goswami says that can be taken care of if we go the extra mile and serve that devotee in a way that pleases that devotee. Find out what that devotee likes and then give that gift, or invite for prasad, or serve them in such a way, or assist them in their service to their guru, which will please them. In that way, Krishna is, then the aparad is completely taken away. But anyway, that was not your question. Your question was more, what is sinful and aparad? So a person may be sinful, person may have a lot of papa karma, but just like we saw the dacoit, if you surrender to Krishna, then all of that can be taken away. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami. Sarva aparad mokshayashyami, he doesn't say. He says sarva papebhyo, I will get rid of this. But aparad, you have to do some things that you have to do yourself. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask one question, Prabhuji?
I'm okay, thank you. As long as I'm not taking too much time of from the next program.
That's okay, Prabhu.
Mataji.
I have still more time. 5 more minutes.
Okay. Okay. Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, I think 728 sloka, it is mentioned that the person who have acted piously in his previous life, I mean, if we have a lot of pious credit, then only, we can perform Krishna consciousness. Or in this life, we have pious credit, we can do. But in other way around, we hear that if we have a pious credit and a punya karma, we can go to the Swarg Loka and all, we can enjoy in this material life. But here it is mentioned, if you have a pious credit, then you can do the Krishna consciousness activity. So, but you are saying the other way around. You are talking about Swikriti, which looks like something related to spirituality, Krishna conscious related Swikriti. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it is saying pious means punya karma. So I need a little clarification how both are different, Swikriti and punya karma. As of now, I know only that if I have punya karma, I can enjoy and be here in the material life only. But Bhagavad Gita says other way around.
So are you referring to the verse in 7th chapter where it says, Yesham tu antagata papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moham
Prabhuji,
bhajante mam dridhavrata.
Yeah, that one.
So it says, persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of illusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So he says, one whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, they engage in service, right? But in 18th chapter, he says, those who surrender to me, I remove their sinful reactions. But then 7th chapter says, those whose sinful reactions are removed, they surrender to me. So which comes first? Is sinful reactions eradication comes first, or surrender to Krishna comes first? And this paradox, this is the paradox of Bhagavad Gita. Is a very typical paradox, which is removed or resolved by the Acharya. When the Acharya comes and gives some devotional sukriti, devotional activity, some unknowing sukriti to a devotee, then this cycle can be resolved. This paradox, the locked paradox can be unlocked, because Srila Prabhupada, when he was in 26 Second Avenue giving lectures, it was a small place, and he was giving his class, and suddenly the door flung open, and a homeless man was just standing there, and he was on drugs, and he walked inside in a very drunken condition, and he went inside the toilet, which was right next to where Srila Prabhupada was sitting. It's a very small place. So he went inside the toilet, he changed the toilet paper, he put a new toilet paper and came back and left. And everyone was stunned because, someone flung the door open coming like this. What are the intentions? What is this person trying to do? And then he left. And Srila Prabhupada, he turned to all the devotees who were quiet and stunned silence. And he said, his devotional life has started because he did some service for the devotees. Unknowingly, he just don't know why he did that. But his devotional life started. Now his life, which was locked in this paradox of whether removal of sinful activities comes first or surrender comes first. Because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, because he served Srila Prabhupada, unknowingly even, now his surrender started, and Krishna removed his sinful activities, because of which now he can engage himself with determination. Bhajante mam dridhavrata. Now if he engages with determination and bhakti, more of his sinful activities will go away. Again, which will enable him to engage in bhakti. So it is true, which comes first? Krishna, 7th chapter says sinful activities, eradication comes first. In 18th chapter, he says, you surrender to me, then I will remove your sinful reactions. But when we serve a devotee, or a devotee comes and we are participating in a Harinam, or if a devotee gives us some prasad, or if unknowingly we sleep in front of a deity, which they accept as sleep in the dham, which Mahaprabhu accepts as paying obeisances. All of these things break this lock of what comes first. So that's why devotees have this responsibility to, as much as possible, share the goodwill, go for Harinam, go for book distribution. Even if they touch Srila Prabhupada's book, this paradox is unlocked. Their devotional sukriti starts. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada was very vehement that don't just be selfish and follow on your own. Go out and spread this good fortune to everyone, of Harinam to everyone. Does that address your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Very, very wonderful answer, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And we'll end the session now, Prabhu, because next session will be starting by 11.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. We want more and more of your association. Thank you so much.
Thank you for accepting the service. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
नमो नमः
Anantapoti Vaishnava
Ananta
ki
Koti
jai.
Vaishnava
Srila
ki
Prabhupada
jai.
ki jai.
Srila
Thank you
Prabhupada
so much,
ki
Prabhu, for a
jai.
wonderful session.
Thank
As
you, Prabhuji,
always.
for
Thank you,
wonderful
Prabhuji.
class.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji.